Hi guys, it's me Terry of the Yarnjoy podcast. Welcome back to another tutorial. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make this yarn keeper. This is my design. I call it the Use What You Got yarn keeper because you use scrap yarn, okay? Okay, so you can either make this with the handles, like I have these carrying handles, or without the handles and just it be a basket. So however you want to make it. Okay, so for this pattern, you're going to need worsted weight yarn in your main color, okay? This time I'm going to make it in this silver gray color. This is Karen 1 pounder, but you don't need very much. I had a skein that was a 3.5 ounce skein of this blue 100% acrylic worsted weight yarn, and I did not come close to using the whole skein. So very small amount, okay? Maybe half a skein, maybe, I don't know, of a 3.5 ounce skein. Okay, anyway. And then you're going to need some scrap pieces for these stripes. There are only 2 rounds per color, and so very small amount. In this project I used 3 different colors, but in the one I'm going to be making along with you, I'm going to be using just 2 colors, and of course it is just scrap balls that I have of worsted weight yarn. Okay, so let's see. Also, you need a cardboard circle. I cut just a piece of cardboard that was 6 inches in diameter. Actually, it's going to be a little smaller than that. I cut it 6 inches. Just turned a bowl that I had upside down, and well, I measured the diameter of the bowl, and it was 6 inches. So I just turned it upside down, traced it onto my cardboard, and cut it out. And then I also took the scissors and I cut it a little bit smaller than the 6 inches. Maybe 5 3/4 inches, something like that. Now in this project, I had a circle that I had bought of plastic canvas, and it was already a pre-cut circle, and I just happened to have that on hand, and so I just used it, and I believe it was listed as a 6-inch plastic canvas circle, but I think it was actually a little bit smaller than that. Okay, but for this one, I didn't have another plastic canvas circle, so I just cut a piece of cardboard. Okay, let's see. Also, you're going to use, in this project, I used an H hook, which is a 5mm crochet hook. Of course, you're going to use, depending on your tension, if you crochet tight or if you crochet loose, you know, it depends. But the gauge is the first, after you do the first 6 rounds of the pattern, it's a circle, and the diameter of it should be about 4 inches. And so if your circle is not approximately 4 inches, doesn't have to be perfect, then you need to either go up or down a hook size, whatever you need to make it bigger or larger to get pretty close to that gauge. Okay. Also, a pair of scissors to cut your yarn, and of course a yarn needle to weave in your ends. Okay. So to get started, we're going to make the base of our yarn keeper. Okay. And I'm going to be using this gray, like I said. Okay. And you can start 2 ways. You can either make a magic circle, which is what I'm going to be doing, or you can make a slip knot, regular slip knot, chain 2, and then work your half double crochets for your first round into that second chain from the hook. You can do it that way if you don't know how to do the magic circle. But I'm going to do a magic circle. Okay, let me zoom you up just a little bit. Get you a little bit closer to my hands here. Okay, so I'm going to start with the magic circle. Oops. Okay, so in this magic circle, for round 1 with the main color, we're going to work 6 half double crochets, okay? So 1, 2, 3, okay, so there's 3 half double crochets, and it just I'll go ahead and do one to describe what I'm doing. You yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, bring up a loop, and then yarn over and go under all 3 loops. Okay, that is a half double crochet. So that was my 4th one, and so 5 and 6. Okay, so 6 half double crochets, and now I'm going to take my yarn end here, I'm going to pull it tight to draw my circle up. Okay, now I'm going to join with a slip stitch in the top of my first stitch. Okay, so let's see, 1 2 3 4 5 6. There's my first one. I just counted back from 6 spaces. Okay, and then I'm going to slip stitch into the top of that first half double crochet, okay, to make my circle. Okay, so on to round 2. It says chain 2, 1 and 2, and this chain 2 is going to count as my first half double crochet. So while I'm doing this base, all of the chain 2s are going to count as my first stitch. Okay, it's going to count as a half double crochet. So we chain 2. Now I'm going to do 1 half double crochet in that same stitch that we joined in. Okay, so that's the equivalent of 2 half double crochets, and then we're going to do 2 half double crochets in each stitch around. So 2 in the next one and 2 in the next one. Okay, and you're going to do that in each stitch around for a total of 12 half double crochets. So 2 in each one. Okay, now I'm going to check my count and see if I've got 12. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. So now I'm going to slip stitch into the top of that chain 2 space that we started, the chain 2 that we started with, because that is counting as a stitch. So that is the end of round 2. I now have 12 half double crochets around. Okay, so going on to round 3, we're going to chain 2, and this is counting as our first half double crochet. We're going to half double crochet into the same stitch that we joined into. Okay, and then we're going to half double crochet 1 time into the next stitch. Okay, now in the next stitch we're going to do 2 half double crochets. So 1, oops, and 2. Okay, the next stitch we're only going to do 1 half double crochet. Okay, the next stitch we're going to do 2. Okay, and then the next stitch we're going to do 1. So you're going to repeat that pattern, 2 half double crochets and then 1 half double crochet, and you're going to do that all the way around. And at the end of round 3 you should have 18 half double crochets. Okay, so I'm at the end. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18. Okay, so 18 half double crochets that you have in total. So now I'm going to slip stitch into the top of the chain 2 to close my close this round. Okay, and then go on to round 4. So chain 2 and then half double crochet into the same stitch that you joined into. Okay, and now we're going to half double crochet 1 time in each of the next 2 stitches. So 1 and then 1 in this one too. Okay, and now we're going to do 2 half double crochets into the next stitch, and then 1 half double crochet in the next 2 stitches, 1 each. Okay, so now we're going to repeat that pattern around. Okay, so I'm at the end of my round, and at the end of this round we're going to have a total of 24 half double crochets. Okay, so now we're going to join in the top of the chain 2 that we started the round with the slip stitch. Okay, on to the next round. Round 5, we're going to chain 2, half double crochet into that same stitch as we joined into. Okay, Okay, and now we're going to half double crochet one time each into the next 3 stitches, right? Yeah, because the last time we did it 1 in 2 stitches, so now we're going to do half double crochet in the next 3 stitches. So 1, 2, and 3, right? Yes. Okay, so now we're going to do 2 half double crochets in the next one. Oops. And then 1 half double crochet into the next 3. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay? And then you're going to repeat that all the way around. Okay? Okay, so I'm at the end of round 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. And I'm going to slip stitch into the top of the chain 2 to join the circle. Okay, and at the end of the round 5, we're going to have 30 half double crochets. Okay, now if you look at your work and if it's doming up like that, okay, don't worry about it, because once we get finished, you're just going to stretch it out a little bit and it will flatten out to be the circle that you need it to be, okay? Okay, so on to round 6. We're going to chain 2, 1 and 2, and then we're going to half double crochet into the same stitch that we joined into. Okay, so that makes our first 2 half double crochets. And then we're going to half double crochet one time each in the next 4 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so that's our new pattern. We're going to do 2 half double crochets into the next stitch, and then 1 half double crochet into the next 4 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, and then we're going to repeat that pattern all the way around. Okay, so I've just finished round 6, and I'm going to join with a slip stitch into the top of the chain 2 that we started with. Okay, so at the end of round 6, we should have 36 stitches around, and as you see, it is bowling up on me or doming up on me, but if you put it down ever so often or at the end of each row if you want to, and you flatten it out, you will see that it will make a flat circle. Okay. Okay, so going on to round 7, we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, we're going to half double crochet into the same stitch that we joined into. Okay, and now we're going to half double crochet one time in the next 5 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, and now we're going to repeat that around. So 2 double crochets into the next one, and then 1 double crochet into the each of the next 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, and then repeat that all the way around. Okay, so now I'm at the end of round 7, and I have a total of 42 stitches around. So now I'm going to slip stitch into the top of the chain 2. Okay, so we have 42 stitches around now. So on to round 8, we're going to chain 2, half double crochet into the same stitch as we joined into. Okay, and then half double crochet in each of the next 6 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and then repeat that pattern. So 2 half double crochets into the next stitch, and then 1 half double crochet into the next 6 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, and then repeat that pattern all the way around. Okay, so now I'm at the end of round 8, and I have now 48 stitches around my circle. Okay, so now I'm going to slip stitch into the top of the chain 2 to join. Okay, lay my circle down and spread it out a little bit, stretch it. Okay. Okay, and next round is round 9. We're going to chain 2, 1 and 2, half double crochet into the same stitches where we joined, okay, or where we joined into, and then we're going to do 1 half double crochet in each stitch for the next 7 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then we're going to do 2 half double crochets into the next stitch. 1 and 2. And then 1 half double crochet into the next 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay? And we're going to repeat that pattern all the way around. Okay, so I got to the end of round 9, but I haven't fastened off quite yet, because at the end of round 9, right now I have 54 stitches going all the way around my circle. Now, before I fasten off, I want to do 1 extra half double crochet into that last stitch, okay, because I want to end up with 55 stitches all the way around, because I need a multiple of 5 when I end up, okay? And so now I'm going to slip stitch into the top of the chain 2 to close my circle, and now I have 55 stitches all the way around. Okay, flatten out my circle here a little bit. Okay, so now this completes the base part of our project, and like I said, you need 2 of these base parts. So if this is your first one, then go ahead and chain up 1 and then just pull that yarn all the way through like that, and you want to leave, because you're going to fasten off, and you want to leave a long tail, enough to be able to go around this base circle, because you're going to use this for sewing in, okay? Plus a little bit more, you know, just leave a really long tail, okay? Now, I have already done my first base right here, and I left a long tail, okay? So this is my first base. Okay, so if it's your first one, go ahead and fasten off, leaving a long tail that will wrap all the way around and then some your circle, okay? And then go back to the beginning and repeat what we just did to make your second base circle. But this time with the second one, we're not going to fasten off. We're going to continue on to round 10, okay? So just pause the video here, or, you know, pause it, reverse it, and then do another one of the bases, and I'll be waiting for you. Okay, so you should be now finishing up with the second base circle, and remember, the second one that you make, you do not fasten off. And so let's continue on to round 10. So in round 10, it says to chain 2, 1, 2, okay, and then it says 1 double crochet in the back loop only of the same stitch as join, and in the back loop only of each stitch all the way around, okay? So let's do that. So now we are doing, in the base, we were doing half double crochets. Now we're doing double crochets on this round. So we're going to yarn over, insert our hook into the back loop only of the same space that we joined into, okay, and do a double crochet. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing, back loop only, double crochets all the way around the whole entire circle. Okay, so I just made it around my circle with my double crochets, and I'm going to join into the top of the first, not the chain 2 that we made, but the first double crochet that we made. So at the end of this round, we should have a stitch count of 55 stitches, not counting the chain 2 that we did at the beginning, okay? Okay, on to round 11. It says to chain 1, and that is not going to be counted as a stitch. So in the same stitch, we're going to do 1 single crochet, the same stitch that we joined into, okay? And now in each stitch around, we're going to do a round of just a single crochet all the way around, okay? And so at the end, we will have 55 stitches. The stitch count should stay the same. Okay, so I just went all the way around doing my 1 single crochet into each stitch around. I still have 55 stitches, okay? And I'm going to slip stitch into the first single crochet of the round to finish off that round. And now we're going to fasten off because we're going to change colors, okay? So I'm going to fasten off, leaving just a little, a few inches of a tail, just to have something to weave in, okay? Chain 1, well, you act like you're doing a chain 1, but then you just pull it all the way through to fasten off. Now, I'm going to insert my hook into the same stitch, that same single crochet that we we joined in, because that's where I want to start my next round. Okay, so now I'm going to take my first scrap yarn color, I'm going to use this green here, okay, and now I'm going to join that by just hooking on my hook, or hooking on the yarn and pulling it through, okay, and then making a slip stitch, okay, to join, okay. Now going on to the next round, this is round 12, it says to chain 3, so I want to chain up 3, 1, 2, and 3, chain 3, and then it says to do 1 double crochet in each of next 4 stitches, okay? So 1, 2, 3, and 4, okay? And we are now counting the chain 3 that we did as our first double crochet. So we have a total of 5, the equivalent of 5 double crochets. Okay, now I want to chain 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, and then I'm going to come back down and I'm going to slip stitch into the top of that double crochet, the last one that we just made, and I'm just going to slip stitch into it. Okay, now continuing on, I'm going to double crochet into the next 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, now I'm going to repeat and I'm going to make another loop. So chain 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, and then I'm going to come back down and I'm going to slip stitch into the top of the double crochet that we just made, the last one that we just made. Okay, just slip stitch. Okay, now I'm going to double crochet into the next 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I'm going to continue doing that all the way around, okay? Okay, so I just did my last 5 double crochets on the round, and see, I still need a loop to finish the round off. So I'm going to chain 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then come down and slip stitch into the to the last double crochet that we just made. Okay, so that's our last loop. Okay, and now we're just going to come over here and we're going to slip stitch into the top of the chain 3 that we made at the beginning, because that counts as our first double crochet. So we just slip stitch into that to finish off the round. Okay, so now just a little tip that I do is, if you open up here look at the inside. Here is our starting tail for the green that I just started, and here is the ending tail of our main color that we fastened off from the previous round. So just as an extra security, I like to go ahead and just tie them together in a little knot. Okay, just like that. And then I will weave in the ends, and as you can see, I need to weave in this one in the very beginning of my magic circle. Okay, so going on to our next round. This is round 13. We're going to continue on with this first color that you used. In my case, it's the green. I'm going to chain 1, and this does not count as a stitch. I'm going to single crochet in the same stitch that I joined into, which was the top of that chain 3. Okay. And now I'm going to do 1 single crochet in each of next 4 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. And then the loop, all we want to do is, since this is the right side of my work, okay, I'm going to pull the loop forward toward the right side of my work. See that? I'm just going to pull it forward, going to work behind, and I'm just going to continue on, and I'm going to single crochet in the very next double crochet with that loop sticking in the front. See that? And then I'm going to go ahead and single crochet into that group of 5 double crochets that was there. I've already done the first one, so single crochet in the next 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, and now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take that loop and I'm going to pull it forward, and then I'm going to just go ahead and go around the back of it and single crochet into the next double crochet and into the next 4 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then so I'm going to keep doing that around. I got to pull this loop forward and then single crochet in the very next double crochet, and then the next 4 after that. So 1, and then 2, 3, 4, 5. So it ends up being 5 5 single crochets between, just like you had 5 double crochets between the loops. Now you can have 5 single crochets between the loops. Okay, and so I'm going to do that all the way around. Continue doing the same thing. Okay, so I've just come up to the end of round 13. Okay, I did my last single crochet, so I'm going to pull this loop forward, and then I'm going to join into the top of my first single crochet to complete that round, still having 55 stitches around. Okay, and now I'm going to change colors again. Okay, so I'm going to fasten off, leave just a little tail for weaving in. Act like you're doing a chain up 1, and then just pull it all the way through and snug it down to fasten it off. Okay, so this is what my bowl is looking like so far. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to insert my hook back into the same stitch that I joined into. Okay, and then I'm going to take my next color, which is going to be this gold color this time, and then I'm going to hook it onto my hook, leave a little tail at the beginning there, pull it through, and then I'm going to slip stitch or chain up. Well, it's the start of my chaining, so I'm going to chain up 3, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, that's the start of my round, and then I'm going to repeat round 12 again, the same thing. Okay, so I chained up 3. Now it says, and that is going to be counting as my first double crochet. So now I'm going to double crochet in each of next 4 stitches. Okay, so 1, doing double crochets, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that gives me a total of 5 double crochet equivalents. Okay, now I'm going to do a loop again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then I'm going to come back down and slip stitch into the top of the double crochet that I just made. Okay, now continuing on, I'm going to do 1 double crochet into the next 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now make another loop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me get some more yarn here. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then come back down, slip stitch into the top of the double crochet we just made. Okay, and then double crochet into the next 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it's time to make a loop again. Okay, so let's just look at this. See, now our loops, our new loops, should be right above your previous loop. See, they should line up. Okay, so now we're going to continue that all the way around, repeating row 12. Okay. Okay, so I just finished round 12 for the second time. This is a repeat, and I am going to be now slip stitching into the top of the chain 3 to close up my round. Okay, and now I should still have 55 stitches around, and you should be having 11, or you should be getting 11 chain 10 loops all the way around as well. Okay, now we're going to repeat round 13. We're going to chain 1 and then single crochet in the same stitch as we joined, and then we're going to do 1 single crochet into each stitch around, remembering to when you get to one of the chain loops that you pull it forward and work around the back of it. But you're still putting 1 single crochet into each of the double crochets from the previous round, all the way around. So you're going to end up with 55 stitches, keeping the same stitch count. Okay, so I just finished this round, and I'm ready to slip stitch into the top of this first single crochet, and that completes my stripe for my second color. Okay, so this is what you should be looking like now. The loops should be right above each other. Okay. Okay, so time to fasten off and change color. Okay, so now we're going to do the last 2 rounds. We're going to do that one more time. Okay, so that's repeating rows 12 and 13 one more time. So I'm going to insert my hook into the same stitch that I joined into. Okay. And now I'm going to go back to my green just to give it a different color design. On my original one, as you can see, I used 3 different colors. So you can do it that way, or you can do it where you repeat the colors. Repeat the first color. I do suggest at least that middle color being a different color, so that way you can see the change in pattern when we put the loops together. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my first color and pull up a loop and then chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to continue on repeating round 12. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and then I'm ready for my loop. And so, like I said, go ahead and continue on with your third color, or your third row of color, and repeat rounds 12 and 13, and then I will meet you up at the end of round 13 when it's time to join our main color back again. So I just finished the third stripe in my basket, and so that is the equivalent of finishing up round 17, because we did 12 and 13 for the first stripe. That's round 12 and 13, and then we repeated it again for the second stripe, around 12 and 13 again, and then round 12 and 13 again for our third stripes. Okay, so 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So that's the end of round 17. Okay, so now before going on, oh, and I did fasten off, see? Okay, so before we go on, I went ahead and inserted my cardboard circle into the bottom of my piece, of my basket. See that? Okay. Okay, so then I'm going to take my base circle, the one that I left a long tail, and I'm going to insert that into the bottom of my basket. And I'm going to yarn my needle with the end tail of that base circle. And then I'm just going to go around the circle, going through all the layers to the bottom of my basket, which will encase that cardboard circle into the bottom. Okay, so I'm just going to insert my yarn needle, and make sure you go through the both layers of those bases that you made. Okay. And then I'm just going to come out the bottom, see? So I'm going to be doing that all the way around, making sure that I go and come up through the layer of the liner as well. And I'm going to do that all the way around my circle, and that will stitch these two rounds together with my cardboard insert encased inside. Okay, so I will meet you up when I get finished stitching this piece down. Okay, okay, so I got my base all stitched down. Okay, so let's go on to finish up our basket. So going on to round 18, I'm going to go back to my main color, insert my hook into the same stitch that I fastened off the last round at, and I'm going to pull a loop of yarn through of my main color, and it says to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and then it says that it counts as our first double crochet, and then we're going to do 1 double crochet in each stitch around. Okay, so I just finished that round. That was round 18. I'm going to slip stitch into the top of the chain 3 to finish off my round. See that? Okay, so now before we go on to round 19, I want to take my loops and get them prepared to get them secured, because we will secure them into our basket on the next round. So starting at the bottom, I'm going to put my second loop through the first loop, coming from the back to the front like that. Okay, and then I'm going to take the third loop and I'm going to do the same thing with this second loop from the back to the front. I'm going to pull my loop, that loop through, and so that way it's going to look like that. See that? Okay, so I'm going to do that with each of the groups of loops around. Okay, so take the bottom one, take the second one, and put it from the back to the front through your first one, and then take the third one and from the back to the front pull that loop through the second one. Okay, just like that. Okay, and we're going to do that all the way around. Okay, so I just got finished preparing all of my loops, so let's go on to round 19. So I'm going to chain 1, single crochet into the same stitch as what we joined, okay, and then single crochet into the next 3 stitches, 1, 2, and 3, okay. And now I'm going to take my loop and I'm going to put it onto my hook where the hook is going into the loop from front to back. See that? And then my hook is then going to go into the unworked stitch behind it, pull up a loop through the stitch and through the loop, okay, and then finish it off by doing a single crochet. Okay, now I'm going to single crochet into the next 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, and then pick up the hook pick up the loop, put it on the hook. The hook goes in from front to back and then into the unworked stitch behind it. Pull the yarn all the way through the stitch and the loop and then finish off with a single crochet. Okay, and then I'm going to repeat that all the way around. So 1 single crochet in the next 4, and then I'll pick up the loop and make the next single crochet. Okay, so I'll meet you at the end. Okay, so I just finished going all the way around, picking up my loops as I was making my single crochets. Now I'm going to join this round with a slip stitch into my first single crochet. Okay, so we still should have 55 stitches around. Okay, going on to round 20, I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and now we're just going to do one, and this does count as our first double crochet. We're going to double crochet 1 time in each stitch all the way around, just a regular double crochet round, okay? Okay, so I got to the end of that round. I'm going to slip stitch in the top of the chain 3 to join. Okay, and then going on to round 21, I'm going to chain 1 and single crochet into that same stitch, and then single crochet 1 time in each stitch all the way around, just a basic single crochet round this time, and you will have a total of 55 stitches at the end of the round. Okay, so now I'm at the end of round 21, and I'm going to slip stitch into the top of the first single crochet of that round to join my round. And now just a note that if you don't want to put handles on your basket, then you can finish off, and that will be, you will be finished with your yarn keeper. Okay, just weave in, see I see it have some ends in there, so I need to weave in the ends, and then you will be finished. Now if you want to have the handles like this, okay, the handles, then continue on to round 22. Okay, so continuing on to round 22, I'm going to chain 2 this time, so 1 and 2, and this does count as our first half double crochet of this round. Now I'm going to do 1 half double crochet in each of the next 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, now I'm going to chain 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Okay. Okay, so after chaining 16, now I'm going to skip 13 stitches on my basket. I'm going to go ahead and yarn over, because when I get to that point, the 14th stitch, I'm going to put a half double crochet in it. So I'm going to go ahead and yarn over on my hook to get it ready. Okay, so I'm going to skip 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and the next one, the 14th one, I'm going to do a half double crochet. Okay, now I'm going to half double crochet 1 in each of the next 14 stitches. That way I'll have a total of 15 half double crochets. I've already done the first one, see? So counting the first one, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so now I have 15 half double crochet stitches right there. Okay, now I'm going to chain 16 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Okay, turning my basket, I'm going to yarn over because when I connect it, it's going to be in a half double crochet. I'm going to count and skip over 13 more stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and the next one, the 14th one, I'm going to insert my hook and complete my half double crochet. Okay, now I'm going to half double crochet in each stitch across to the end, and it's going to be, this is the first one, so you'll have a total of 8 half double crochets before you get to the end. Okay, so this is the first one. So 1, this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, now I'm going to slip stitch into the top of the chain 2 from the front, from the first of the round, to close off our round. Okay, now the stitch count is going to be a little bit different. You should have 29 half double crochets around that round and 2 chain 16 loops. Okay, now going on to round 23, we're going to chain 2, and that's going to count as our first half double crochet, and we're going to half double crochet in each stitch and in each chain around. Okay, so I've got to the end of this round. I'm going to slip stitch into the top of the chain 2 from the beginning. Okay, that completes our round, and now we have a total of 61 stitches, 61 half double crochets all the way around this row. Okay, I mean round. Okay, one more final round to go, and then our yarn keeper will be complete. So we're going to do round 24. Chain 1, single crochet into that same stitch as we joined, and now we're just going to do a single crochet in each stitch all the way around, and you will end up with 61 single crochets in this round. Okay, so I just got to the end of round 24. I'm going to slip stitch into the first single crochet of the round, and my yarn keeper is now complete. So I'm going to fasten off by chaining up 1 and then pulling my yarn all the way through, snugging down that end, and then I'm going to weave in my ends. Okay, and my yarn basket is now complete. Okay, so stretch it out just a little bit. Take your yarn cake. It fits a Lion Brand mandala cake really well. Okay, so remember right there, I would weave that in. I'm going to weave the end in. But anyway, here is my yarn keeper. Okay, you could also use a yarn ball as well. Okay, and it would also work as a great yarn bowl for balls of yarn. Okay, anyway, there is your use what you got yarn keeper. Thanks so much for following along in my tutorial. I hope you enjoyed making this yarn keeper, and I hope that I hope that you post pictures in the Facebook group of your finished yarn keepers, or send me an email and send me a picture. I'd love to see what colors that you use for your yarn keeper. If you want a written PDF file of this pattern, I'm going to have it available in my Etsy shop, and I will have a link in the description box below where you can get a written copy of this pattern. Okay, that's it, guys. So we will see you in the next video. Bye.